Just feed my daughter, human. The sky was red. Smoke filled the air. The city was broken, buildings in pieces, streets full of dust and silence. John, a human scavenger, walked slowly, holding a small light and a rifle. He wore a mask over his face. The war had ended months ago, but the planet still smelled like fire and death. John was not a soldier. It was just a survivor. He searched old places for food, fuel, anything to help him live one more day today. Something was different. He saw smoke rising from a metal hill. It wasn't a hill. It was a crashed alien pod, silver, broken, and glowing faintly. John moved closer, careful with every step. His boots crunched over bones and glass. The pod door was open, burned on the sides. Inside, it was dark. Then he heard a sound. A whisper. Help. John raised his gun and stepped in. Inside, the lights blinked red. A strange smell filled the air. Not blood, but something like flowers and metal. Then he saw her, an alien. Woman, tall, thin. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes large and glowing weakly. She was badly hurt, a cut on her side, her arm bent wrong. She lay on the floor, gasping. Next to her, a small figure hid under a silver blanket. A child. John didn't move. He didn't know if this was a trap. The alien woman looked at him. Her voice was weak. She spoke in broken English. Just feed my daughter, human. John blinked. What? She pointed to the blanket. The small girl under it looked at him with wide purple eyes. She looked scared, but not dangerous. The woman tried to sit up, failed. Food, please. She is hungry. John stepped forward slowly. I don't have much, just a little, the woman said. Her breath was short. Then leave. Take her far. John looked at the girl. She was silent. Her hands held a small toy. It looked like a flower made of metal and light. He knelt down. Are you hurt? The girl shook her head. She didn't speak. I have a shelter, John said to the woman. It's not far. I can carry you. No. Her voice was sharp, scared. Not me, just her. Why? She closed her eyes, her lips shaking. They are coming. They smell. Children, they take them. John felt cold. Who's coming? The woman didn't answer. Her hand touched the girl's head. She's good. She's still clean. Just feed her, human. Please. I'll stay. She coughed, and blood ran from her lips. I'll stay here. John saw her body grow still. Her chest moved slowly. Then it stopped. Dead John looked at the child. She didn't cry. She just looked back at him. Waiting, John carried the girl in his arms through the broken streets. His shelter was under an old building, a hidden place with metal doors and a power cell. He had food, water, and safety, at least for now. He gave the girl some water. She drank slowly. Then he opened a small can of beans and offered it to her. She looked at it like it was something strange, then ate. She didn't say a word. What's your name? John asked. She looked at him, then down at her hands. No answer. John sat down across from her. I'm John. Still silence. He sighed. You're safe here, for now. Then he heard something dump, sound above, heavy. Slow. John grabbed his rifle and stood up. The girl didn't move. Thump, thump. He went to the door, turned off the inside light. He listened. A low growl came from outside. Not a dog. Not a machine. Something else. He moved to the small camera screen and saw a dark shape moving on the street. Tall, thin. Its eyes glowing red. It sniffed the air. Then it looked straight at the camera. John's blood turned cold. He turned to the girl. Who are they? He asked. She hugged her toy tightly. my mama said. If I stay quiet, they won't take me. John stared at her outside. The thing scratched the wall, slowly, like it could smell her. Like it was waiting. The creature outside didn't knock. It scratched soft at first, then harder. Like it was testing the wall, like it already knew someone was inside. John didn't breathe. He stood still near the door, holding his gun tight. His eyes locked on the camera screen, the tall shape. Moved left, then right, then stopped. Its glowing red eyes blinked once. Then it disappeared into the fog, gone. But John didn't relax. He waited 10 minutes. Then 20, still no sound. He turned to the girl. She was sitting in the corner, hugging her strange metal flower toy. Her big eyes stared at the wall. She hadn't moved. She hadn't cried. Not once. Hey, John said softly. It's okay now. It's gone. The girl didn't answer. He stepped closer. You didn't even flinch. You weren't scared. Slowly, she looked up. Mama said, ... don't make noise. John sat down across from her. Smart mama. The girl nodded. What's your name? He tried again. She hesitated. Leary. He repeated. Pretty name. She gave a tiny smile. Just for a second. Then it vanished. Over the next few hours, John gave her more food. Some dry bread, water, a few soft fruits he had saved. She ate slowly, always silent. Always looking around like something would jump out from the shadows. At night, John closed all the steel doors. He made sure the traps were set. Hidden alarms, wires, motion sensors, things he had built to stay alive. They had worked before. He made a small bed on the floor for her with extra blankets. But Leary didn't sleep. Instead, she sat near the wall, drawing in the dust with her finger. Strange shapes, lines, and circles. John watched. What are you drawing? Leary didn't look up. Bad ones. Bad ones. She nodded and kept drawing. John leaned closer. The shapes looked like tall stick figures with claws. Big round heads. Glowing eyes. They come at night, she whispered. They smell fear. Mama said so. John frowned. What are they? Leary paused, then said, They used to be people. John. Didn't understand? People? You mean aliens? From your city, she nodded. Soldiers, workers, mamas. Then they changed. Changed how? They heard the voices, she whispered, from the sky. Now, John was cold again. What voices? Leary looked up at him, eyes wide. The ones that want to eat light. John didn't speak. The next day, he tried to fix the radio. He had used it before to catch signals from orbit or nearby survivors. But today, it only gave static. He checked the food. Not much left, maybe 4 days, if he shared. Less if Leary kept eating like this. John sat by the table and opened a journal. It was his old notebook. He wrote down everything. The creature, Leary. The mother's last words. He looked across the room. Leary had found some metal tools and was playing quietly, but not like a normal kid. She was arranging things. Building something. Fast, clever. John walked over. What are you making? She held up a small cube of wires and glass. It hides heat, she said, so they don't smell us. John stared. Where did you learn that? Leary shrugged. Mama showed me. Before they chased us, he took the cube. 'Twas simple, but it worked. It could block thermal scans. He had made something like it before, but it took him weeks. She built it in minutes. You're smart, he said. She didn't answer, just whispered, I'll stay quiet. I promise. Please don't send me away. John's chest felt heavy. I'm not sending you away, Leary. That night, the sky turned darker than usual. No moon, no stars. No lie or I sat by the window. Step back from there, John said. Could see. She didn't move. He walked over and gently pulled her back. Leary whispered, "Sometimes I hear them." John crouched down. "The voices?" She nodded. "They say things. They tell me to come outside. Do you listen?" She shook her head fast. "No, never." John stared at her. "You promise?" She looked at him. Her eyes shimmered with tears for the first time. "I'll stay quiet. I'll be good. I won't talk to them. Please, don't leave me." John didn't know what to say, so he said the only thing he could. "I won't leave you, Leary." But that night, while John slept, Leary stood at the window again. She didn't open it, but she whispered into the glass, and far away, in the broken fog, a red eye opened. Morning came, but the sky stayed gray. The air was cold, quiet, and heavy. John didn't sleep much. He kept waking up to check the cameras. Nothing strange showed up, but he still felt something was off. When he finally stood up, Leary was already awake. She was in the small kitchen area, standing on a box, moving cans and small tools. She had tied a rag around her head like a headband. It looked like she was cooking. John rubbed his eyes. "What are you doing?" Leary turned and smiled. "Just a little. I'll cook today." "You'll what?" "Food. I can make food." She pointed to a strange mix on the table: crushed beans, alien paste, and something that smelled like herbs. John stepped closer. "Where did you learn this?" "Mama cooked when we were hiding. She taught me." Leary mixed the ingredients and shaped them into small, soft balls. She looked proud. John picked one up, sniffed it, and took a bite. It wasn't bad. Strange, but warm. It reminded him of something sweet and sour. "You know what?" he said, chewing. This is actually decent." Leary smiled more now. "I'll cook," she said again, her voice firmer this time. "I'll help." "So, you don't send me away." John sighed. "I already told you, I'm not, but people always go," she interrupted. "They help me. Then they disappear." John froze. "What do you mean, people?" Leary looked down. Her voice dropped. "On the ship, before the crash, a man helped us hide. Then one night, he left to get water. He never came back." John looked at her closely. "You said your mother was running." "From the bad ones." "She was," Leary said. "But they follow me, because of what's inside me." John blinked. "What do you mean, inside you?" Leary shook her head. "Mama said not to tell. She said, people won't like me if they know." Later that day, John tried the radio again. Still, just static. The machines weren't broken. Something was blocking all signals. He checked the food. Not much left. Then he checked the camera logs. Last night's footage showed something strange. At 3:14 a.m., the outside camera saw a shadow move past the wall, fast, almost invisible. It didn't walk. It floated, stopped near the shelter, and tilted its head, like it was listening. Then it was gone. John's hand tightened on the mouse. He rewound the footage. This time, he looked at the inside camera at the same time. 3:14 a.m. Leary stood at the window, not moving, not blinking. Her lips were moving, whispering, but there was no sound. That night, John moved his bed closer to the door. Just in case, Leary was already lying on her blanket. "Good night, John," said. She didn't reply. He waited a moment. "Thanks for cooking." Still no reply. Just before he closed his eyes, she spoke. "Do you believe in monsters, John?" He opened his eyes. "I've seen plenty." "Real monsters," she said. "The kind that wear your face." John sat up. "Why are you saying this now?" Leary was looking at the ceiling. "Sometimes I dream of things. Things that haven't happened yet. John's voice was slow. Careful. What do you see in the dreams? You, she said. Running? From what? She turned her head toward him. Me? John didn't sleep that night. He watched Leary as she slept peacefully. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. She hummed while making a small breakfast using alien root paste and heat pellets. John forced a smile, but his eyes never left her. Later, he took his old pistol, checked the bullets, and placed it under his coat. He didn't know what Leary was, but he was sure of one thing. Something was coming, and maybe it wasn't coming for her. Maybe it was coming because of her that afternoon. While cleaning up, Leary found something in John's backpack. A small broken photo of a woman and child. Is this your family? She asked softly. John looked up. From his tools was long time ago. What happened? They were taken, he said, in the first wave when the sky opened. Leary touched the photo gently. I'm sorry. John looked at her, this little alien girl who had seen more horror than most adults. And he felt something strange. Hope, even if she was hiding something. Even if the monsters were real. She was still just a child, right? That night, while John worked on repairs, Leary sat in the shadows, holding her flower toy. She whispered softly, words. In a language John didn't understand, the toy began to glow. Faint red dot and far outside in the ruined city. Something answered, I'll stay in your bed. John couldn't sleep. Again, every night since Leary came, something had changed in the shelter. The air felt heavier. The lights flickered more often. He heard whispers in places where there was no one. It felt like the shelter was breathing. And then there were the dreams. He saw a dark hallway. Full of voices, he walked down it, hearing his name over and over, not from one voice, but from many. Some sounded like children, some like machines, some like himself. Every time he turned a corner in the dream, there she was, Liri, standing in the dark, smiling. The fourth night after the crash, Leary asked something strange. Can I sleep in your bed tonight? John looked up from his tools. Why? I don't like the cold, she said quietly. And the dark is louder now. He hesitated. Leary, I'll stay quiet, she said quickly. I promise. I won't move. I just feel safe. When I'm near you? John sighed. He didn't like the idea, but she was just a kid. A strange one, yes, but still small, still scared. Fine, he said. That night, she lay still at the edge of the bed, facing the wall. John lay on the other side, pretending to sleep. He could, single quotes, not with her whispering in a language he didn't understand. Again, around 2 a.m., felt something cold, like ice was crawling over his back. He opened his eyes. Leary was sitting up, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Leary, no answer. He sat up slowly. Hey, she whispered. It's almost here. John swallowed. What is? The one that watches, she said. It followed us through the sky. He stood, grabbing his rifle. Where? Leary pointed to the wall. John looked at the camera feed. Nothing. Still, he turned on the defense grid. Lights buzzed on. Traps armed. Drones floated to their posts. He turned back. Leary was lying down again, like nothing happened. Next morning, John checked the outer motion logs at 2:17 a.m. Something had passed by the shelter, but the sensors didn't beep. Because whatever it was, it didn't walk, it hovered, and it left no heat, no sound. Just one thing, a long, thin scratch mark across the steel door. It hadn't broken through, it had touched the shelter, like it was saying, hello, Lir. Helped cook again. She made warm soup. from melted ration bars and root cubes. John didn't eat much. He just watched her. "Leary," he asked carefully, "what happened to the people who helped you before me?" She stopped stirring. Then she said softly, "They broke." John frowned. "What does that mean?" "They got close. Too close. And the voice found them." John leaned forward. "What voice?" "The voice that sings in metal," she said. "It sings to people who dream about fire. It shows them what's real." John felt a chill. "And what's real, Leary?" She looked up at him with calm, glowing eyes. "You're not dreaming." Later, John checked his old logs. He remembered something, an old report from before the collapse, about a lab ship, not alien, but human, that disappeared in deep orbit. It carried samples of alien tech, including something called echo strain. The report said it was alive, but not a creature. A voice, an infection of thought. Whoever listened to it too long, changed it, whispered ideas that weren't real, and then made them real. The lab ship had sent one last signal before going dark. It doesn't need a body, it needs a door. John looked at Leary across the room. Was she the door? That night, she crawled into bed again without asking. John didn't stop her, but this time, he didn't sleep. He just watched. Around midnight, Leary whispered, "I like this place. It's quiet inside your head." John stiffened. "What?" She turned toward him, eyes still closed. "You don't fight it like the others." "Fight what?" "The song," she said. "The one that hums in walls. You hear it now, don't you?" John shook his head. No, but he was lying. Because now, he did. A faint hum, like music trapped in static, was playing somewhere behind the walls. He whispered, "What are you?" She smiled in her sleep. "I'm hungry." John stood. Up fast, too fast. The radio exploded with static. Then a voice, his own, repeated, "Don't let her in. Don't let her in. Don't let her in." John turned to Leary. But she was already gone from the bed, and the lights began to flicker red. She begged. John's shelter was no longer quiet. The lights flickered red and white. The air vents hissed, leaking cold mist. The walls buzzed like something was crawling inside the metal, and Leary was gone. John grabbed his rifle, turned on his helmet light, and moved room to room. No sign of her. The door was still locked. She hadn't left. She was hiding. Leary. He called out, no answer. He searched every corner under the bed, behind the storage boxes, near the generator. Then he saw it. One of the vent grates was open. A trail of dust and small handprints led inside. He crouched, heart pounding. Leary. His voice echoed from deep in the vent. He heard breathing. Then a whisper. She begged. John leaned closer. What? She begged me not to let it in. It was Leary's voice. Soft, sad. John tightened his grip on the rifle. Come out, please. She thought I could stop it, Leary said. She was wrong. John climbed into the vent, crawling carefully. His flashlight flicked across metal walls, scratched with symbols. The same symbols Leary used to draw in the dust circles. Eyes, doors, at the end of the tunnel, he found her. Sitting, alone in a small space, holding her flower toy. Eyes glowing faintly. She didn't look scared. She looked tired. You're not safe anymore, she said. John sat across from her in the narrow space. I need the truth now, he said. All of it. Leary nodded slowly. My mother worked for the labs, she said. They wanted to fix us. Make us better, smarter, stronger. They put the echo inside some of us. The voice, John asked. Leary nodded. It doesn't talk like words. It sings in feelings. In pain, it showed us things. Futures, worlds, death. John frowned. What does it want? Leary looked down. It doesn't want anything. Just as it moves through thoughts, through fear, and you. John asked, "What are you?" "I'm the cage," she said. "My mother built me to hold the voice, to trap it, but she failed." "She begged me not to let it out," Leary said, voice breaking. "She begged until her heart stopped." John stared at her. "So, it's free now?" Leary shook her head. "Not yet. It's leaking. A little, each day." John clenched his fists. "Then we destroy it. Whatever it is, we kill it." "You can't kill a song," Leary whispered. "You can only stop listening." John stood. "No more hiding. Come out. We'll figure it out." Leary didn't move. "If I come out, here's me louder." "I don't care," John said. "I've fought worse than ghosts." Leary looked up at him. "You haven't met this one." Back in the shelter, John tried everything. He set up signal jammers, covered the vents, blocked cameras, built noise machines to drown out the hum, but the song kept finding him. When he slept, he saw images he didn't understand. Machines crying, stars bleeding, a tower made of mirrors. With Leary inside, screaming. When he woke, he found symbols drawn in his notebook, ones he didn't remember writing. And one morning he found his own face drawn over and over again. With its mouth missing, that afternoon, Leary cooked again. She made a stew. Something warm, with herbs from the survival pack. John sat at the table, tired, pale, sweating. She placed the bowl in front of him. "You should eat," she said. John stared at the bowl. He wasn't sure if he was hungry anymore, or just afraid to eat anything she touched. Leary sat beside him. "I begged her to let me go," she whispered. John looked up. "Your mother," she cried. "She said I was still good, that if I stayed with good people, I'd stay quiet. And you want to stay quiet?" John asked. Leary smiled small. "Sad. I try." Later that night, the radio buzzed again. This time, it spoke. In Leary's voice, "I'll stay quiet. I'll cook. I'll sleep in your bed. Just feed me, human." John threw the radio against the wall. It shattered. Lir. I stood in the hallway, watching. "I didn't say that," she whispered. "I know," John replied. But something did. That night, Leary stood at the window again. John watched from behind. "You keep going there?" he said. "Why?" She pointed at the city. "Because it listens better out there." John stepped beside her. "Is it calling you?" She shook her head. "It's calling you." John froze. "Why me?" "Because you care," Leary said. "It always finds the ones who care the most." John looked at her, and for the first time, he didn't see a child. He saw a prison, wrapped in skin and sadness. A prison that was cracking. "I won't let it have you," he said. Leary whispered, "Then you'll have to let me go." John turned away. He couldn't. Not yet. The sky above the city turned purple. Not the normal kind, not sunrise, not sunset. This was something wrong. Clouds hung low like torn curtains, and the wind smelled like burnt metal. The air buzzed, like static was crawling through it. Inside the shelter, John stood over his table, staring at two things in one hand. A small tracker beacon, a military signal device. If activated, it would send a short-range pulse. If anyone was listening out there, soldiers, survivors, ships, they might find him. They might help. In the other hand, a silver needle, a weapon, a last resort syringe made to stop biological threats. It wasn't made for alien children, but it would work. He looked at the needle, then at the small bed across the room. Leary was sleeping, or pretending to. Earlier that day, she had said something strange. "If I go far enough," she whispered, Maybe the voice will lose me. John had shaken his head. You know that's not true. Leary looked away. I wanted to believe it. John stared at her. Is there anything left of you? Anything still? You? She didn't answer. Instead, she asked a question. If you had to choose, save one child or save a whole planet, what would you do? John didn't answer either. Not then, now, hours later. He still didn't know. He walked to the door of the shelter and looked at the city. Creatures moved through. The fog. Tall, thin things with red eyes and long arms that didn't bend right. They didn't walk. They glided. There were more of them now. Dozens, hundreds, drawn by the song, drawn by her, Limai. I opened her eyes. You're thinking too loud, she said from the bed. John turned slowly. You weren't sleeping. No, she whispered. I don't sleep much anymore. He walked over and sat beside her. You knew this day would come, he said. Leary nodded. My mother did too. That's why she built the cage. John glanced at the strange flower-shaped toy still in her hands. It's not just a toy, is it? Leary shook her head. It holds the frequency. The voice sleeps inside it, but not forever. John looked down. So what do we do? Leary looked up at him with calm, glowing eyes. You choose. Outside, the sky began to rumble. Dark cracks split the clouds, and from above, soft hum began to play. Deep, slow, like a song being played on a broken machine. John stood, heart pounding. If I press the beacon, he said, they'll come for you. They'll try to help, she whispered. Then they'll hear it too, and then they'll become part of it. He stared at her. And if I use the needle? She smiled gently. Then I stop being a door. John's hands shook. You're a child? No, she said. I was a child. The thing inside me. It doesn't care about years or faces. It only wants more ears to listen. Tears filled John's eyes. I promised to protect you. And you did, she said, longer than anyone else. He turned away. The hum grew louder now. Even the walls were vibrating. The tools on the table began to shake. Liri stepped forward. Small and silent. She took the needle from the table and held it out to him. I begged her, she said softly, to be brave. I didn't want to do it alone. John stared at the needle. In her small hand. Are you sure? Leary nodded. But I need one last thing, she said. What? Stay. Don't look away. Just until it's quiet. John fell to his knees. The weight of the choice crushed him. But he took the needle, and for a moment, the hum slowed down like the voice knew. Like it was afraid. Live sat down on the floor and looked up at him. I'm ready. John hesitated. Then, gently, he pressed the needle into her neck. She didn't scream. She smiled. The light in her eyes flickered, then faded. The flower toy in her hands cracked, then turned to dust, and the hum in the air stopped. Just silence. Real silence. For the first time in weeks, John stayed beside her. Minutes passed. Hours, maybe. Then the wind changed. Fresh, quiet. The sky above slowly turned blue. The creatures in the fog vanished, and John. He didn't cry, he just whispered. She begged, and I listened. The air was calm. For the first time in weeks, the shelter was silent. No humming, no whispers, no flickering lights. Just the steady breath of a quiet world. John stood at the edge of the ruined city, staring at the morning sky. It was blue again. Not purple, not black, just blue. Behind him, the shelter was still. Leary was gone. Not missing, gone in a way that made the silence feel heavy. Like something brave had passed through and left peace behind. He had buried her, not because she was human, but because she tried to be. John walked through the city slowly. The monsters were gone. The ones with red eyes had vanished. Their smell, their tracks erased like chalk in the rain. Whatever had called them was silenced, but something else was left behind. The song, not loud, not deadly, but faint. A hum inside John's memory. Like a scar you can't see, but still feel. He could still hear it sometimes in the back of his mind, like the soft ringing after a bomb. But now he had control. Because he chose, 3 days passed. No signs of life. No signals then. On the 4th day, something blinked on the radar. A small shuttle, human, unarmed. John climbed the old comms tower and aimed his signal toward the clouds. He didn't say much, just coordinates. One word, safe. They came at sunrise. Soldiers in worn armor, doctors in masks. They expected infection, madness, death. Instead, they found one man and one grave. They asked him what happened. He told them a simple story. She wasn't a weapon. She wasn't an alien. She was a child who tried to carry too much, and she gave it up, so we could live. But John kept one thing hidden. The flower-shaped device. It hadn't turned to dust. After Leary's death, he found a second layer, one sealed deep inside it. A recording, her voice. If you're hearing this, then I was stronger than it. Not because I fought, but because someone believed I could be. Weeks passed, cities rebuilt, ships returned to orbit. Humanity rose, as it always did. Governments wanted to study the device. John refused. Scientists asked him why. He answered simply, some doors should stay shut. But he wasn't afraid anymore. He had seen what power really was, not in fire, not in monsters, but in a choice, one quiet moment of truth, when a person has to decide who they are and what they're willing to carry. Leary made hers. John made his. Now the world had a second chance. Months later, John walked into a classroom rebuilt near the old city's edge. He didn't wear a uniform. He wasn't a soldier anymore. He carried books. One of the kids asked, "What did you used to be?" He smiled. "I was just someone who listened." He wrote on the board, HFY humanity fights you. Another child raised a hand. What does it mean? John leaned against the desk. It means when monsters come, not the kind with claws, but the kind inside your head. Humanity doesn't give up, it fights. No, John said softly. It loves first, then it fights. That's what makes us dangerous, and deep underground, in a sealed vault where no one dared to go. The broken pieces of Leary's toy pulsed once. A soft flicker, a heartbeat, and then silence again.